Hey there. In today's video, I'm talking about when you have difficulty beginning. Now, I've kind of talked about ways to begin in other videos, but today I want to talk about maybe a formula, if that makes sense. And I'm really not about formulas, like, oh, these 3 steps to a perfect painting. That's not what this is about. This is another way of kind of finding your way when you're feeling stuck and you don't know what the next steps are. So I'm just showing you how, when I'm feeling really stuck and I don't even want to start anywhere, I just create a simple pattern using squares and rectangles. And I'm telling you, it is simple, but I feel like in the process, I'm mixing paint, I'm making marks, I'm doing some other things, and ultimately it leads me into a deeper place with my creativity. So it may feel like a simplistic formula, but at the same time, I feel like it's just another opportunity to start. It's another place to begin, and it's another way to get me out of a rut and on the road, hopefully to a little bit more freedom in being, finding the creative juices and getting those things flowing so that I can make the art that I want to make. So anyway, I hope this gives you a starting point, a launching point, a place to begin, and that you will embrace whatever random shape that you want to use and use it to your advantage when you're feeling stuck. Anyway, without any more chit chat, let's get started. When I'm really having a rough time getting started, obviously formulas are not something that I ascribe to most of the time, but let's just say, okay, I've got to this place, I really don't know how to move forward, so I'm going to do this formula that I know that I like. So I'm just going to, mix a little color. I have some colors out here. I guess I should tell you. I have a yellow oxide, a Payne's gray, a raw umber, a white, and this is like a light pink tone. I think it's called toning gray pink. And I'm just going to mix up, just going to add a little bit of, see what I get. This is kind of darker, so I'm going to start with slightly lighter color. So kind of what I do is, I like that. It's like a yellow ochre or something. Obviously I started with the yellow, but this formula is more like rectangles and squares is what I like to think of it. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just putting shapes. So I believe all of us can make a shape, right? So I'm just kind of getting different colors. You could just use these straight out, but I'm trying to kind of vary my colors or make them a little deeper by using a little bit of each of the color. So let's see, what should we do next? Let's take a little bit of this up here. Like I said, for me, I have the fun. I kind of like mixing these colors and seeing what happens. And then sometimes I don't like the color, but sometimes it's like, oh, whoa, I didn't see that coming, because you just don't know. And I like a muddy color, so for me, like, these colors are perfect. And on top of this richer background, which is more vibrant than I would normally have, but it has some really super cool texture, and I don't know if you can see that. So that's kind of what I do, is I vary the shapes and sizes. This is my formula. And I would suggest that you kind of think about what, and then I'm trying to think what formula you like. Like, do you like circles? I usually don't like squares, but this little formula here, I actually really, I enjoy, because I don't know why. It's really simple, and I like the effect when I'm doing it on top of a background that maybe I don't know where to go. And that doesn't mean that I have to leave it here. It means, I can do whatever. Okay, so this would be as far as I would take it. But typically what I do then is I take this is a Stabilo pencil, but it could be a mark making tool. I got this out too because it's bigger. It's just a graphite, but I want it to kind of show up. And I'm going to show you what I do often is I just kind of make some marks in it, and it makes it a little bit more interesting. And then I can decide if I want to leave it like this. When I come back to it, I can go, oh, I like that, or I don't. And it's another place to start. But this is my formula. I'll do it one more time. And then I might, because I didn't get any mark down here, I might kind of do something like that. So, okay, I'm going to bring over another art journal and we'll do another one. This is another page I'm stuck on. Obviously, I've done all kinds of stuff. I've cleaned my paintbrush. I've made marks. I've written in graphite. I've done a lot of different things. So for this one, I think I'm going to start with a little bit darker So maybe more of the Payne's Gray, and I'm not going to mix it quite as much. Yeah, I do like a little bit. Maybe I'll put some of this raw umber in there. That kind of makes a pretty color. And often I don't do this little formula on such a large substrate. I would do it more on like, let me grab it. So something like this, like sheets of paper that I use, but you know, for the sake of example, it is kind of fun, and I don't really know where to go with this. So this is a truism. So I'm going to, since I already have it dark down here, maybe I'll start up at the top, and then I can put a lighter color down below. And I'll just keep making this. I think I'm going to have to make it a little bit wider. Let's do that, and let's go. And I try to make them not equal. So both sides would be slightly different in terms of their length. Just makes it a little more interesting. And this one has a lot of texture on it. I can see it underneath. Okay, so this bottom part is dark, so I think I'm going to make it light. I think I'll use the yellow and just keep what's on my brush. Kind of as you notice, I'm not cleaning my brush. I like the colors mixing in. I like that effect. But I know a lot of people that wouldn't be the case. They would, and so you certainly could change out your brushes. You could wipe them on a paper towel. You could have a piece of paper off to the side that you were cleaning your brush on. So those are all really good options. I like the mixing of the colors, and for me, the unexpected results is really fun. So, okay, I'm going to do, I think I'll do this pinkish color over here, even though I don't have much of it. I'm gonna get my paintbrush a little bit wet. That paint is a little thick. Let's add some white to it. And then let's add a little bit of this. Okay. You just never know what you're gonna mix up. Let's add a dab of blue. Let's see what happens. Okay. So it's very neutral, kind of almost similar to the background. Not super interesting, but here's what I can do. Let's say I get that on there and I really don't like it, which maybe I don't. I'm not really sure right now. I'll show you what I'm going to do. Let's actually, we'll pretend like I don't like it after, even though I don't really like it, but let's mix up one more color. Let's do this over here. Let's do a lighter blue for the top up there. Let's get a little bit of yellow in there. Makes it a little more interesting. Okay, so, oh, I do like that color. Which I do like the muddy colors, which I guess probably most of you know if you've watched any of my videos. Okay, so I don't like this color, but I could live with it right now. But for the sake of example, let's say I don't like this color. Well, which I don't. Which, for example, I'm just gonna take this paintbrush that is loaded with all kinds of other stuff. I'm gonna mix it with this yellow. And let's see if we can get a better color. Let's get a little bit of white in there. I think we can. And I'm gonna try to get all this. Now, if you were smart, you know, you'd mix with maybe a little brown. You'd mix with a palette knife, and you know, there's all kinds of things you can do to do this properly. But when you're stuck and you don't know where to go and you don't know what to do, making squares and rectangles is certainly one way to do it. Okay, so I like that better, but now I feel like it's too close to this. So here's the thing. Maybe I go with a lighter, let's get some blue in there. Another lighter blue color. Okay. Okay, so let's go over this one. Yeah, so okay, I like that better. Now, obviously, there's no rhyme or reason to what I did. You can do it however you want. This is what, you know, like I said, called a formula. Okay, I'm gonna take this larger graphite. I am going to just kind of do some of this, and across the bottom, I'm gonna do a little bit of that. And so maybe up here as well. So there you go. And this page could be like, this is just an example, almost like a color study, almost like I'm gonna take 4 colors and I'm gonna see what I can create with it. I'm gonna go over the top of a page I really don't like. I don't know how to proceed. I don't know where to go. So this is just a formula that I use sometimes when I am super stuck. I have my paint and I just literally do not know where to go. And so I would recommend find a shape that you like: circles, squares, triangles, rectangles, whatever, flowers, shapes, whatever it is, and just have that be a go-to. Recently, I used to do a lot of circles, and I still like circles probably better than I do squares and rectangles, but for some reason, I'm really liking this formula when I get stuck. So I hope this helps you kind of think literally outside the box and how simple it can be to just begin, even when you're stuck. Take 3 or 4 colors, mix them like I did. Doesn't matter what random colors. If you don't like it, paint over it, do it again and again until you get to where you like, and then just do some scribbling over the top. I mean, how simple is that? And yet the result, I've gone from a page I literally did not like to now this is kind of cool. And I've discovered some colors that I like, and I like the texture that's coming through, and there's a myriad of different ways that I could approach this now. Leaving it, I could paint in between, I could paint over the whole thing. I've got a lot of richness underneath. So it's just something to think about when you are beginning and you feel super stuck. What's the easiest thing that you can do? Well, I personally believe making squares and rectangles or circles is probably the easiest thing you could possibly do. And anybody can do it. I am not talking straight lines, although you could get a ruler, you could measure this out. However, if you're an exacting kind of person, but this is just a really easy way to get in your paint, to start making art, and to discover maybe some colors or some new colors that you hadn't realized before. So I hope this helps, and thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.